Tommy Europe was a professional all-star Canadian football player who helped the Lions bring home the Grey Cup in 1994. These days, his Grey Cup ring is a nice memory. His job is to help people get fit, really fit. Europe is the fitness coach people love to hate. He works out in gyms and on television. He tours the country, and he hosts a TV show called The Last 10 Pounds Bootcamp and one called Bulging Brides. It is my pleasure to welcome Tommy Europe to Studio 4 to tell us more.
How you doing, Fanny?
Fine. I saw the yay when I said you helped the Lions bring home the Grey Cup.
Well, that was 1994. It was a pretty fantastic year. We weren't expected to do well, and we stole one in Edmonton, stole another one in Calgary, then came home and beat Baltimore in front of our fans.
See? There you go. Beat Baltimore?
Beat Baltimore. That was the first year the States were in the league.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean you're in, where are you?
No, it was the Baltimore Stallions, because remember they had the U.S. teams. They had a bunch of U.S. teams that year.
Oh, my gosh.
With the expansion. See, Fanny, come on now.
Well, lucky you remember. But didn't you do a stint with the New Orleans Saints?
Yes. After I left BC, I went to New Orleans, and then I was there. I got released at the beginning of the season, and then continued on to Montreal, and then played my last 5 years in Winnipeg.
Okay, so you didn't really run into any of those Manning brothers, what, Eli, Peyton?
They were there in the
Archie,
they were
dad.
throwing around in the, I was there for the off season as well, so I did get to meet Peyton when he was still at Tennessee, and when he was just working over some of the teams and they were checking him out and his mechanics. I think he turned out pretty good.
I dare tell. Was it your dream to play in the NFL or the CFL or to play football as a career?
It was my dream to play professional football. I kind of game planned early on in life what I wanted to do. I was playing hockey a lot, and then when I started playing football and started to get more of an interest in it, I went to Bishop's University in Quebec, and I told, before I even played my first game in college, I told somebody I'm going to play 4 years here, then I'm going to go to the CFL, then I'm going to go to the NFL. And I was pretty much on track the whole way until I got released in New Orleans. But hey, you got to go after your dreams.
Well, it was one of those days, a bad day, a dark day, yes. Take me back to young Tommy. Young boy, were you a natural athlete, natural-born athlete, a little fat kid, what?
No, I was always extremely active. My mom always told me that I couldn't sit still. But I played a ton of sports. But everyone in my community, we're all the same. We all hung out. We all, played road hockey. We're all running around through the woods and forest and playing soccer and football. So it was a wide variety of sports, and just being active has always been part of my life, something I've always done. So for me, it's natural, and that kind of continued on through high school, through university, and playing multiple sports, and that led me to playing professional football for 11 years, and then life of fitness.
And when did that bell ring for you? When did you decide you wanted to help other people get fit, really fit?
It kind of, towards the end of my career, probably in my 8th or 9th year, I got certified here to be a personal trainer because it looked like something that I would enjoy doing. I wouldn't have to put a suit on. And
Exactly.
Exactly, trying to avoid the suits. And, it just seemed like a natural fit for me. And as I started getting into it and working with people, and then obviously, you go into it, I think when you first go into training, you're trying to learn your craft. Obviously, you're trying to make money and everything. Yes, you are helping people, but sometimes that's not the primary thing in your head. And then, just like anything else, I think a bulb kind of goes off in your head. And when you see people progressing and when you see how much you can affect their lives, and they can take ownership for themselves. And training, physical training, is a great segue into that.
And how is the boot camp idea, like the boot camp that many soldiers went to? Is it a little easier?
It's a little easier than the soldiers went to, I'm pretty sure. But it's basically pushing yourself past your comfort zones. And when we came up with the show, The Last 10 Pounds Boot Camp, I was approached with the idea and the concept, and we kind of ran with it from there. And just the training-wise, we get to be outside. You get to use what's around you.
Right.
And being here in Vancouver, obviously, 12 months out of the year, it's beautiful. And if you don't have to shovel rain.
Exactly. And why not sweat in the rain?
Why not?
Why not? So I have not been to boot camp yet.
Yet.
She says I may never go to boot camp. I like Pilates class. It's
Yes.
good for me. What about boot camp on television? Tell me about that show.
The Last 10 Pounds Boot Camp is basically takes you through 4 weeks of people's lives. They're trying to lose 10 plus pounds for a certain event. It could be a wedding, could be a high school reunion, just at the end of a weight loss journey. And I basically take them through a boot camp. They're training with me 3 days a week, doing 2 to 3 days of cardio on their own. And we kind of talk about their story, where they've come from, their background. And there's some pretty amazing stories on there, and it's been 6 seasons we've shot up with that show,
Right.
and it's been an amazing ride.
Well, apparently you don't just lift a few dumbbells on that show. You raid refrigerators. I'm thinking of our Erin Shaw from The Express. You went to her house, did you? And took
Yes.
some high-fat items out of the fridge, or what?
She had some products, but it's not so much, what she was eating, because Erin was pretty active, and she was just stuck, and it's just showing her better choices. So when we go into her cupboards and take out the enriched foods, or the simple carbs and the sugars, because she's trying to lose weight. And if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to get fit, there are some sacrifices that you have to make, and it's your decision how far you want to go.
Exactly, I hear tell. So, raiding the fridge and coming up with a program. I don't like to call it a diet, but if you want to get fit and you're going to work out hard and you're going to go to the top of your game, obviously, you have to know about nutrition and hydration and many other things.
Definitely. You have to include cardiovascular activity. You have to include resistance training. You have to follow a balanced meal plan, and not a diet. We're not restricting anything. Balanced meal plan, eating, smaller portioned meals, but more frequently, 5 to 6 meals a day.
So grazing.
Grazing, exactly. And also rest. A lot of people, we live busy lives, so people don't have a lot of time to spend hours in a gym. So nice, short, efficient workouts, and that's basically how I came up with that book.
Tell me what you do.
What I do?
In the morning.
In the morning?
Tommy Europe gets up.
I get
Are
up.
you an early bird?
I'm an early bird. I have my daughter's going to be one
I knew
next,
you'd be an early
next
bird.
week. So
She's going to be one?
One, yeah.
Okay, she's the early bird. You
She's the
follow.
early bird. We follow. So it could be anywhere between 6:30 and 8:30, depending on how she feels.
Okay, and you start out with a shake or a
Nope, I
bowl
have
of bran buds or what?
glass of water. Like today, I had my Sunny Boy as well. I usually have my coffee. I like my coffee. That's one of my.
Now, what's a Sunny Boy?
Sunny Boy, it's like a whole grain cereal. It kind of looks like porridge. It's,
who knew?
It's got flax and some
Right.
other goodies in
So
there.
some grains.
Yeah, throw some frozen fruits in there. Or I might have some granola and some yogurt, or I might have some eggs. Just kind of depends on what I'm doing and how active I'm going to be early.
Okay.
But always start with breakfast.
Always start with breakfast, and they tell me not to start with orange juice or juice. Start with a piece of fruit, because if you start with juice, it heightens your sugar. So
Immediately.
squeeze a lemon and some warm water, and you're way to go.
That's the best way to go. I mean, and I like orange juice, and I don't drink as much of it as I used to, because as I was educated, 1 glass of orange juice could have anywhere between 25 to 30 grams of sugar.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't realize. They think about the sugary drinks or the pops, but it's a lot of the juices as well.
Sure. Are you a daily gym goer?
Not daily.
I
but,
can call home.
It used to be a daily.
Right.
Now it's 3 to 4 times a week.
Well, how much is too much, in your opinion, for anyone?
For anyone, that's just general fitness.
Yes.
I see people working 5 or 6 days a week, and that's too much for the average person. If you're an athlete or you're training for something, obviously it's a little bit different, and you're going to have to put a bit
Sure.
more time in there. But for most people, if they're working out 3 to 4 days a week, they can get fantastic results.
Well, as you know, gym can be an addiction for some.
Yes.
Not anyone I know, but apparently. And it's a lifestyle. It's a whole thing. So, boot camp, day 1. According to Tommy, if I get your name right.
See, don't call me
See?
Tawny. Don't call me Tawny.
No, Tommy, Europe, the 10-pound shred. Day 1 boot camp, what happens?
Day 1 boot camp, through the book, you go in and you get real with yourself. So you're taking your measurements, and there's a little bit of a fitness test that's in there, and so you can see where you stack up. So that's going to let you know when you start the program, day 2, whether you're going to go at a, level 1, which is kind of a beginner intermediate level, or a more intermediate advanced level.
Right. And you have to really know how to do this, because you can injure yourself, as you know so well, when you're doing a stretch or a dip or a squat.
Definitely. And then just even in coming up with the concept for the book, it's fully illustrated, so all the pictures are in there. There's tips in there as well, because there are certain exercises that you do need to really focus on what you're doing.
Sure.
And I think when people go to the gym or work out, they kind of lose focus, and that's where injuries occur, when they're trying to do things that they're not capable of doing, or being mindful of technique and form.
And how much cardio do you think someone should do, as opposed to resistance training, stretching, lunging?
Cardio you can do 2 to 3 days a week as well. The 10-pound shred each week, basically there's 3 resistance training workouts and 2 cardio workouts. Plus every day is completely detailed as to what you're going to be eating each day, all in the right proportions. The calorie count in the book is at about 1,600 calories. So if somebody needs more calories, they can add an extra snack in there.
Okay.
You're eating every 2 to 3 hours as well.
What about a beer or 2?
Well, it's a bit. I'll have a beer or 2 as well.
Sure.
But I mean, it's not going to be the bulk of what I do. When I was playing football, it was a little bit different. But you know how that game goes.
I do know how that game goes. Well, in my day, I know how that game went, and I knew the boys weren't always like in bed at 10.
10. See, we had curfew at 11. See, they gave us a bit more grace.
Of course, but then you had the girls,
The girls.
the fan base,
Fanny.
so to speak.
Fanny.
I know, and you had the coach saying, I think all the guys are in bed.
Well, they
right?
come in and check. They'd stick their head in and knock on the door and, see what was
Sure.
going on. But it was fun.
Mm-hmm. And you'd pay somebody to stay in your bed, would you, just because if the coach checks?
Well, there's always tricks
No
to
tricks.
the trade, but I can't talk about them now because there's still guys that are playing. I can't give up their secrets.
No. What about the injuries? Football injuries, hockey injuries, concussion, all of that. Let's take a break, and I want to talk about that, about how to prevent injuries at a top level, at a pro level, or in the gym, or at boot camp. And then we'll go on to bulging brides.
Bulging brides.
What about bulging grooms? Tommy, you're up, our guest. We'll come back.